Welcome back, Dice fans. We're here with another unboxing. It's Ross from the weekly Dice Arena. Today we've got some special pre-release product. We've got the Uncanny X-Force team pack here. This is going to be released May 22nd is the street date. It will come out along with the Dark X-Men team pack and the X-Men Forever campaign box. If you'd like to see me unbox those things, they will also be on this channel, so check it out. Comment and subscribe as well, please. Let's get into it. This team pack, it's empty. The front is empty because I've already shot this intro one time and then messed it up. But let's look at sort of the boxing here. Just like a lot of the other team packs, this pack contains 24 cards, 16 matching dice. If you've never played Dice Masters before, it does intermingle with every other Dice Masters set, whether that's DC, Marvel, D&D, Ninja Turtles, Yu-Gi-Oh! You can find it and you can play it. Dice Masters is a great game. So we popped this baby open. We found some dice and some cards. The dice look pretty awesome. Some color combinations that I really like, especially this tealish blue here. We'll figure out who that is here in just a bit. But pretty pumped to get into this thing. 2 dice per character, which is it's good. It's good. Sometimes you got to buy 2 of these packs to get max dice, but that is just the way the cookie crumbles, folks. Let's jump right in. We got Cable. He's a 4-cost bolt. Cable's ability says energize. The energize keyword meaning spin all of your active character dice up 1 level. If you have an active character with energize, Cable is free to field. I think it's good. It's really nice that Cable gets fielded for free with some stipulation because his fielding cost is atrocious. For a 4 cost, his stats are kind of eh. But generally, you're going to be getting him on his level 2 or level 3 face, right? If you spin up all of your active character dice, he would get spun up. He'd be in this range somewhere. Generally a cool card. We'll see if Energize is worth playing. We'll just put it that way. I know there are some basic actions that spin up all of your characters, or maybe some actions, but it's never been a keyword necessarily. We'll see how it goes. Pretty excited about that. The other Cable, 5 costs, so we've moved up in price. Let's see if the ability moves up as well. When Cable is blocked, deal damage equal to Cable's level to each character die blocking him. Equal to his level. So you're going to be dealing 1, 2, or 3 to whoever blocks Cable. One thing that's good about this card is that they're going to want to block Cable, right? His stats are fairly good, especially on his 5/5 side. He's definitely going to be blocked. You deal 3 to that blocker. The ability's not awesome for a 5 cost. The problem with this is even if that damage were to knock out the blocker, he's still blocked. He doesn't go unblocked. So it's really just some extra damage. Extra killing power, Mr. Cable. I'm unconvinced on that one. Let's see what the other one is. Cable. Body Slide. Giggity. Infiltrate. Cable has Infiltrate, a 5 cost with Infiltrate. That is a rare bird, but let's see what the rest of the ability is. Infiltrate says, when this character dies unblocked, you may return the die to the field and deal your opponent 1 damage. So instead of letting him go through for max damage, you could say, we'll keep him for next turn. We'll deal 1 to the opponent. The second part of Cable's ability says, when Cable uses Infiltrate, deal 1 extra damage for each other non-sidekick character die that attacked this turn. Wow. When he uses Infiltrate, so again, he has to be unblocked, deal 1 extra damage for each other non-sidekick character die that attacked this turn. So it counts die instead of characters. That's a plus. It says non-sidekicks, which kind of sucks because getting out a mass amount of non-sidekick characters is fairly hard. But infiltrating for 2, 3, 4, 5 damage is pretty cool, especially when you just get to do it again next turn. Now, that being said, I don't know that you're going to have that many characters to attack with turn after turn, but this could be interesting if somebody Somebody had really built around it, brewed it up, witch's brew. So, challenge accepted. If you have a good build for this guy, please post it in the comments. I am excited. Let's move on. Danny Moonstar. Moonstar. 2-cost mask. Now, we've seen 2-cost masks be absolutely pivotal in the metagame before. Let's see if Danny Moonstar will fill that void. When Danny Moonstar is blocked, re-roll the blocking character die. If it rolls Energy Face, place it in the used pile and deal 2 damage to its controller. Holy moly. There recently, if you have picked up the Dice Masters Justice campaign box, there is a Riddler in there that deals 2 damage anytime an opponent rolls a dice outside of their roll and reroll phase. So this could get absolutely daunting, especially at a 2-cost. This is a super strong ability for a 2-cost. There are plenty of ways, Doomlance, to get lots of blockers to block Danny Moonstar. This is going to see some play, especially immediately when the Justice hype is still pretty large. Oh my gosh, some of the rerolling stuff of recent sets is going to really love this card. The stats for a 2-cost are fairly solid, 001 fielding cost. So again, you want this thing to get blocked. It's going to get knocked out, so you're going to be refielding it turn after turn, so not having to pay too much is fantastic. This is going to be a great card. I cannot wait. That one's going to be awesome. I don't even want to look at the rest, but I will. If I have to, twist my arm, folks. Another 2-cost mask, Danny Moonstar, with Infiltrate. Now, 2-cost mask, great. X-Men affiliation, we'll see. I mean, we're about to see a whole mess of new X-Men cards come through. 2 costs with Infiltrate is cool. I will also say that 2 costs with low stats, relatively low stats, that have Infiltrate are also pretty neat because the Infiltrate damage and their attack damage is not that different. So it makes more sense to infiltrate them instead of going through. You know, if you had an Infiltrate character with 5 damage, you would much prefer to let that character go through unblocked than to pull it back and deal 1 damage. But characters like this makes Infiltrate make way more sense because you are going to forfeit potentially 1 to keep them in the field. Maybe do it next turn. That's cool. 2-cost mask again. While Danny Moonstar is active, at the beginning of each of your opponent's turns, name a non-sidekick die. If that opponent draws 1 or more copies of that die, deal 1 damage to the opponent. At the beginning of each of your opponent's turns. So you get to pick something different at the beginning of each of their turns. That is powerful because some of these cards that say, when fielded, choose target character card and then this ability, right? This one says, choose a non-sidekick character die at the beginning of every turn, not just when fielded. So flexible enough to change your target. Danny Moonstar is going to get a lot of play. Between those 3 cards, Danny Moonstar is going to be on a lot of teams. She alone might be a reason to buy a second one of these team packs. Max 4 dice, especially with Infiltrate. You're going to want all 4. And in terms of this character, I mean, there are ways to build that. Sorry, this is the one when she's blocked. In terms of that, there are ways that the entire whole other team has to block her. But if you just wanted to use her as a 2-cost with a great ability, you're going to want 4 of those. She's going to be great. Masks might be making they might recapture the title of best energy currently in the meta. We'll see how it goes. Lots of new stuff coming out. People are brewing their little tushes off. It's going to be cool. But I foresee Danny Moonstar getting a lot of table time on lots of teams. So keep an eye out. Deadpool. Hopefully better than super rare Deadpool. Am I right? Energize. Your character dice get +1/+1. So the energize keyword. Sorry, I didn't even explain this. The energize keyword is, whenever you roll this die on its double energy face, use its energize effect. I didn't say that about the last energize, but your active character dice get +1/+1. For a 4-cost, worth or nah, Well, let's look at the card real quick. Ross, you're just jumping to conclusions here. 4-cost mask, decent price. Stats, 2-4, 2-5, 3-7 with only 1 fielding. That's pretty rad. And all of your active character dice get +1/+1 when you roll this on double energy. Now, one thing that I think is cool is there is an ability. Is it double fist? There's an ability currently that is pay 2 of something I've forgotten and give all of your characters +1/+1. So essentially you could energize and pay for that global and give everything +2/+2, which is silly. +2/+2 to your whole field? Gross. Gross. This card, it could see some play for sure. The stats are big enough that it's not going to be knocked out necessarily quickly. Does that make sense? Like, you're going to want to keep this guy on his double energy face, so the stats aren't ultra important. Is it important to have more than 2 of these dice? Maybe, but I anticipate probably 1 is going to be. But it's going to be played. I'm excited for this. It's going to be awesome. It's the fourth wall thing. When Deadpool attacks, if you have a die on a double energy face in your reserve pool, all opposing character dice must block. Again, lots of mechanics recently about the entire opposing field having to block, right? Here is it on a card. Yeesh. So, interesting enough, if you have a die on a double energy face in your reserve pool, that's what Energize is, people. So this would pair well with any Energize card. Pay Fist is the global. Deal 2 damage to target blocking character die. 2 damage is a lot to a target blocking character die. 2 damage is a lot for 1 fist. This is going to be cool. People are going to love the global. And the card is perfect for Energize. So I hope through this pack we find some really cool Energize abilities. So far we've seen spin every one of your characters up a level and give, or give your entire field +1/+1. So Energize looking pretty cool so far. I'm also just super excited about that ability. Like, you get a perk for rolling something on double energy instead of the only time this character's text applies is when they are rolled on character face. So, pretty pumped. Let's see what's next. Deadpool, Weir, X-Force. Did I say X-Men earlier? Oh my gosh. This is X-Force. This is not the X-Men affiliation. I'm the worst. I just threw myself for the biggest loop. Deadpool, let's just move on. When Deadpool is blocked, he gains +3 attack and overcrush. What? When he's blocked, he gains +3 and overcrush. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, that makes him a 5/5/6. Holy moly, every time with overcrush. Kind of. Now, if I'm your opponent, if you attack with this die, I'm just not going to block it, right? If you do not block, this character doesn't get the buff. And then we move around to all of those that I was just talking about, all of those new abilities about your entire opponent's field must block, right? Now, I don't want my entire opponent's field to block an Overcrush character, because you have to KO all of the blockers for Overcrush to trigger. So this one's going to be kind of hard to work around, but a +3 buff is nothing to scoff at. Someone's going to make this awesome. I wish it was on a 3 cost, to be honest. I know it sounds silly, but 4 cost, I guess you're sort of paying for the ability, or I mean the global as well. You're paying for having access to the global, which I think, again, is good. The jury's out on this one. I'm uncertain. We'll see. Domino, 3 cost shield with the Energize ability. Deal 1 damage to target opponent and reroll this die. Now, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because you could, if you were lucky enough, the way I'm reading this card is that you leave this die on double energy. It deals 1 to your opponent and you re-roll it. If it rolls double energy again, you trigger the effect again. Then you trigger the effect again. Then you trigger the effect again. Do you see where I'm going with this, people? This could potentially be 20 damage right here on your turn. Nothing your opponent can do about it. except for if they had some of those reroll punishment cards, right? So there are some cards that say punish your opponent if they reroll dice outside of their roll and reroll step. That would definitely qualify here. But in theory, this is an infinite amount of damage, unless I'm totally misconstruing this ability. But the way I read it is that you reroll this die, and if it lands double energy, energize happens again. Holy cow. Now, in terms of characters that I might want 4 dice for, Domino is already on the list. Just think about rolling 2 or 3 of these per turn. You field some of them. You energize some of them, you re-roll them, you energize, you re-roll. And then the ones that you fielded, look at this stat line, folks. 2-2, 3-2, 5-2 on a 3 cost. On a 3 cost has a 5-2 side. That's music to my ears. That is music to my ears because 2 defense means she's going to get knocked out fairly easy. And 5 means she's an enticing character to block, right? You're not going to let this through for 5 too many times. You're not going to let this through for 3 too many times. Loving this card. Loving that card so far. The next Domino. While active, when you roll a die on a double energy face, deal 1 damage to target opposing character die. Domino, I liked your first one so much that this one just sort of makes me While active, when you roll a die on double energy. So it could be another one of your Domino die. That means you'd be rolling 1 damage to your target opposing character and target opponent. That's pretty rad. That's pretty rad. But you couldn't play both of the dominoes at the same time, so that would never really be a thing. But I like the ability. It's just that I really like the other one. It's hard for me to look past the other one to see this one clearly. But still, 3 cost shield with these stats. I'm totally into that. The last Domino has fast. Fast on a 4-cost character that tops out at 5-2. Domino, you really peaked early, my friend. You peaked early, and then it was like, and then it was like, tick, tick. You know, this is a 100% downgrade from the other ones. First off, it's a 4-cost. The stats for a 4-cost are average or below average. I'd say average. They're average. And, fast is good, but on a 4-cost character, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The other one is just so strong. Phantom X. Phantom X. Fanta, don't you want... All right, we're done. Energize, another energize ability. Again, we're looking for good energize abilities because we like it so far. Prevent all damage to your character dice. What? Until end of turn. What? When this lands on double energy, prevent all damage to your character dice. That's intense. That is... Like, I'm trying to think of a situation when this is not good. I mean, I guess if you're just like trying to control your opponent, you're not really going to do anything. But still, it protects your characters, right? You're not going to get pinged out by some sort of deal 1 damage to target a character, whatever else. You could attack for free. You're not going to get knocked out. It's going to be great. 4 cost. Look at the stats. Look at the line. Let's see. A 133, 144, 255. I'll be honest, I'm never fielding this guy. I'm just going to keep rolling him on double energy. Oh my gosh. This is going to have some sort of effect on the meta. We'll see what happens. It seems good. It seems good. Now, you are going to be paying for this dude when you have to field him. But then again, maybe you just don't choose to field him. You just say, I'm going to roll double energy next turn. Someone's going to impress me with this card, and I hope it's you. Right there. Yes, you. I'm excited. Next one, Phantom X. Phantom X cannot be targeted by opposing global abilities or action dice. This reminds me of the Jessica Jones from the whatever team pack she was in. Had essentially the same ability. I think she was a 5-cost though. But this one, again, you're just gonna pay an arm and a leg to field this dude. I don't love this one, but we'll see. We'll see. 5-cost. We went up in cost. Let's see what happens here. 5-cost shield while Phantom X is active. When you field a character die, prevent all damage to that character die. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. When you field a character die, so let's say you're going to play some sort of rush team where you want to field characters, attack with them immediately. They don't take damage that turn. When they're fielded, they don't take damage till the end of turn. That, on a 5 cost, I think that's a reasonable ability. Again, I still don't love the dude's stats. I don't love his fielding costs, but I love the ability. I think it's going to enable a whole different win condition of sort of like back in the day, guy rush, sort of like, let me get my little characters and just swarm you to death. Because, you know, the turn that you field characters, they don't take damage. That's going to be cool. I'm excited. Forge is next. Forge, tell me about it. 3 cost bolt. Has energize. Action dice costs you 2 less to purchase. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to think through my brain how this would work. You roll this die on double energy. Actions are 2 less. And now you have double energy from this dude to buy them with. That's like this alone purchases you a 4 cost action. This alone purchases you a 4 cost action. Think about that, folks. Think about all those 4 cost actions that you really have to go out of your way to buy, right? You drop your ramp, you don't get to use globals, you got your 4 dice, you pay for it. This guy does it all. It's also not just the first action you buy. It's all actions until end of turn cost 2 less. That, I think this will see some significant play. There's a lot of 4 cost actions out there recently that people are pretty keen on. So I suppose we'll see Forge out there rolling on his double energy side. Let's pretend we wanted to field him. 1, 2, 2, 1, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4. Not terribly bad for a 3 cost. The fielding costs are a little steep, but the value here is pretty high. Again, the attack stats being high is nice because my opponent has more incentive to block this person. I like this card. I like this card. I'm excited. Forge Inventor, 3 cost, bolt. When fielded, draw and roll a die. This is interesting. We've seen a lot of abilities that say when fielded, prep a die. We have seen much less abilities that say something about drawing and rolling a die. Now, people, there are some bag shenanigans to be had here. Let's pretend your bag is empty. Your bag is empty. You purchase a character. You resurrect that character to your prep. Oh, no. You don't resurrect. How could you fill your bag? Cake Global? Cake Global fills your bag. There are some bag shenanigans. I can't think about them right now, but there are some bag shenanigans about buying a character and rolling it that turn. I guarantee someone's going to figure that out. This card is interesting. I'm not sure that it's awesome. I think it's going to be somewhere in the same realm as like a Kiln or a Nowhere, where it's like on the right team with the right build and the right pilot, it could be super good. That's just how I feel right now. Again, I can't really think too deeply about it currently because I'm all jazzed up about opening some product. But here we are, his last card, Forge Tribal Shaman Attune. 3 cost Attune. I don't love it. Attune is good. I just feel like there are better Attune characters out there already. Fight me. Don't at me. Don't at me. I just think there are better Attune characters out there. Forge, I'll play your other cards, buddy. Magic. Energy from Limbo. Energize. Again, if rolled on double energy face, draw and roll a die. No. This is the first Energize that I'm like, nope. No. Here's why. Here is why, folks. 4 cost. 4 cost Mask. Whenever this rolls on double energy face, draw and roll a die. Why? At what game state would I say, I'm going to leave this on double energy so that I can draw and roll a die? Now, you might be saying, Ross, you just told us how cool Forge's ability is, and this is essentially the same thing that triggers in a different way. Yes, but this one happens, like I'm fairly certain that Energize triggers right after your roll and reroll step, right? So this one you cannot, like Forge is when fielded. You can do a lot of stuff on your turn and then field him, which gives you more flexibility about what things are in your bag currently. This one is right at the end of your roll and reroll step. So it's essentially like you swarmed once, right? You got an extra die in your roll and reroll. for a 4 cost. I don't love it. I don't love it. Somebody prove me wrong, but I don't love it. Magic Limbo Control. When magic is fielded, deal 1 damage to target opponent for each non-sidekick character die on an energy face in your reserve pool. Magic, I don't love this either. I don't love this either. Also, we didn't note that her defense is gigantic. That being said, back to the card text. When she's fielded, deal 1 damage to target opponent for each non-sidekick character die on an energy face in your reserve pool. When is this card good? This card is good when you have bought 10 characters. Short of that, I think damage can be done much easier. Right? Let's just pretend that I have this card and the what was her name? Domino card from earlier, right? It says energize da 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 da. So that means each of those energizes is going to be 1 damage to target opponent for each. I don't know. I just feel like one damage per die is not going to incentivize me to not roll my characters. My opponent could come through with 1 character next turn. Since magic is the only one that I'm fielding this turn, in theory, she'll be able to block 1 thing. If they put through even a decently sized character, they're dealing me 4 or 5 damage, which is probably as much damage as I just dealt them with this card. We'll see. We'll see. Someone will probably prove me wrong, but I think this is like good on a big entrance team with all 1 and 2 costs where you just buy every single one of your dice and just make it happen. I don't know that it's the most efficient damage, but I am excited. It's a sweet ability that I've never seen before, which is really what I love about this release so far. Just tons of new stuff. Psionic Shields. While magic is active, your opponent may not re-roll more than 2 dice during their roll and re-roll step. Interesting ability. I still don't love that it's a 4 cost. We've seen abilities similar to this that say your opponent cannot re-roll their dice. We've seen ones that say they cannot re-roll their action dice during the roll and re-roll phase. This one says re-roll more than 2. I wish it was I could choose which 2 they could re-roll. That would be cool. That would be way stronger. This just seems like my opponent's going to be like, I needed energy on those sidekicks. It's fine. I'll re-roll my 2 characters anyway. It just doesn't add up to me. It is control-y. I don't know if it's efficient control. I think it's a little gimmicky control, but to each their own. 2-cost mass, Psylocke, Energize. You may field a sidekick die from your use pile. Now, a couple things that I do like about this card. It's a 2-cost mask. Cheap masks, again, have been staples in the meta before. We'll see what happens. Energize. When I roll this on double energy, I can field a sidekick die from used. Let's think about why we would want to do that. You roll this die on double energy. There are tons of mask globals out there these days that are really good. That's plus number 1. Plus number 2 is you have 2 energy to spend on stuff that you want. You spend these 2 on stuff that you want. That goes into your used pile. Then, well, prior, I guess, this happens immediately, but you have now filtered out sidekicks out of your used pile. Similar to like a Star Labs Global where you're like, well, the only thing in my used pile now is the stuff that I've purchased, the goodies, you know? All of the sidekicks are missing out, and now I just have stuff that I like in my used pile. That's cool. I think this is cool for a 2-cost. I think it fits the ability. Stat line is fire for a 2-cost. Look at this. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3 for a 2-cost. That's going to be real cool. Next, Psylocke. When Psylocke is fielded, KO target opposing sidekick character die. When she's fielded, KO a target sidekick. I don't love it. I don't love it in the sense that she's being fielded. She's knocking out a sidekick that your opponent is then going to roll next turn. And also when she attacks, I mean, best case scenario is she's going to knock out another sidekick, right? So I don't love it. I don't necessarily... I mean, there's... On a 2-cost, I can see, you know, she has decent stats and a decent ability. It's a value 2-cost for sure. The ability is cool in certain circumstances, especially when you are trying to... Oh, you know what this could be cool paired with is Any card that says when you KO an opponent's sidekick, you deal a damage. Like, boom! We've just created a 2-card combo with a 2-cost and a 4-cost. This could be cool. It could be cool. I poo-pooed on it a little bit, but I could see it being cool. When Psylocke attacks, you may KO the lowest purchase cost opposing character die. Now, if we had Blob or something, the new Blob from the campaign box, that would intimidate all of their sidekicks, and the only thing left are their good characters, this would be cool. So you field Blob, he intimidates out all the sidekicks, and then you field Psylocke, and you KO their 5-cost or whatever. That's cool. But, we just had to build around a 4-cost and a 4-cost. Yeah, maybe. I would say this card, anytime that I can KO a character of my opponents without really any, affiliations, or, some of them say KO character with 5 or more attack. This one has relatively low stipulations on what you can KO. But if they have sidekicks out, this is kind of for naught, 4-cost for a ability. I mean, if you think about it, if they have sidekicks out, these 2 cards do the exact same thing. For a 2-cost and a 4-cost. I don't love it. But you know what I do love? That team pack as a whole was a really good time. A couple things really stand out. A couple things sort of make you curious, and a couple other things are I like your other cards better. No offense to you, brother, but I'll play your other ones. Anyway, that is the team pack. That is the Uncanny X-Force team pack. I really enjoyed some of these cards. I would fully anticipate that for some of them, I'm going to want 2 of these team packs. Especially some of those 2-costs. That 3-cost Domino with the super cool Energize effects. You might want 2, folks. You can find them May 22nd. But otherwise, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. All of those generic things I should say at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. The other unboxing and the campaign box unboxing should be here on this playlist, so find them. Thanks for watching, and until next time, my name's Ross with the WDA.